Alright, Secret DIY here. Today on this Fan Dabby Dozy episode, I'm going to show you how to use a planer thicknesser, how to maintain it, and what's the difference between a planer thicknesser and just a normal planer and a normal thicknesser. So, with that said, let's get cracked on. So what I'm going to do straight away, I'm going to start going through the maintenance of the machine and basically just how the machine generally works before we start getting into obviously planing down the wood and thicknessing the wood and straightening all the wood out and all that good stuff. So basically all you've got here is you've got planer thicknesser. So what happens is here you plane everything, here you plane everything down, so you put the wood technically over the bed to give yourself a basic straight edge. Then from the straight edge what you do is you then start putting it through the thicknesser end, which I'll show you in a second. So that's how we start it. Now I'm going to start off by showing you how to change the blades. So we're going to get straight into that straight away. Once we've got into that and we've got into how we've changed the blades and obviously cleaned them all around that good stuff, then we're going to start going into maintaining the top, and then after that I'll show you how to obviously safely use it and how the best way I find, the best way I've been taught is to obviously get the best results for your when you're obviously doing your stuff, if you know what I mean, when you're planing down your wood and you're straightening all your wood out. So you've got two levers here. You've got a lever here, okay, and what that lever does is basically it stops this from moving. So what you've got to do is here's the lever here, okay, that stops it from moving, from getting up. So you've got to turn that over like that, and you've got the same on the other side. So that's that. So come round here and we play the same on the other side. Now obviously as you can see it's not plugged in. Another good thing about this is this can be plugged into a mains and it can be used off a mains. That's why I bought it. So this is the craft version of the Axminster craft version, and I don't think they do it anymore. They don't do the straight cuts, the straight blades anymore. Now they're a different kind, but we'll get into that in a minute. So just so you know, it's an Axminster craft and you can use a plug. So that's something you need to make sure that it's not plugged in when you're doing it. So once you've done that, you basically move it out of the way. You turn it into and you get straight into the guts of the situation, and this is where you want to be. So these are the things you need now to obviously sort the blades out. When you come to do it, you need your small spanner which will come with it, and you get one of these that come with it as well. So all this is a case of now is we've got to open it up, which is here, which I'll show you. We'll try and position the camera now so you can see. So I'll get on with that. So me, daft head, when I was looking through the footage there, as I'm editing it now, had a look, and you can't see where the blades are and see exactly what I'm doing. But if I show you this part now of obviously where the blades are and everything, and where the bolts are and how to take them in and out, it'll all make sense. So let's get showing you that now. So that's the blade going right across there, as you can see. In here are the nuts, each one, and all together I've got 5. So what I've done is start from the middle. When I was tightening it back up, I started from the middle and worked my way out. That's loosening it, and tightening it back up. Also as well, when you're loosening everything for this to come up, you're basically pushing the nuts that way up, and then when you're tightening the blade back in, which I'll show you in a sec, you put them out. So what happens then is everything's lovely and tight. Also, what you've got to watch out for, which you're getting rid of, is this stuff here, all the crud. And all that is basically built up sap over time. But what you've got to remember is be careful with these because they are sharp. So you don't want to be hurting yourself. And also you want to watch out as well for these bits here. Make sure they're in line as best you can get them because you don't want them to hit these sides. So with that said, let's get cracked on. So as you can see, this is the part that spins round like no tomorrow, and this is what you feed, basically you feed through. So you feed through, or sorry, you feed through that way. That they will come over here like so, and then what happens is the extractor will go in here, and you feed everything through there, and then that comes out this way. Okay, but the moment we're on that bit will get told in a bit. So we're on to sorting these out now. This is obviously trying to get rid of all the things, so I don't think there's much crud on that, so I'll turn it over. There's a bit more on this one. So what I like to do is you like to make sure that you can see everything. So just a case of this, just take a picture on your phone, okay, of how it goes, just so you know. I know, but just so I know, just so I can refer back to it, and it basically will tell you. So I'll just take a photograph. Now once I've done that, I know that how that goes back in and out, how that goes on that blade. It's just so you don't turn the blade the other way around. You turn the blade the other way around, it's going to turn into a disaster. So once that's done, it's a case then of getting this, your little spanner, okay, and you just start off in the middle. Well, I like to start from the middle anyway, and just take it round. Now what I suggest is you put something over here when you're doing it, just so you can't cut yourself on the blades. So I'll put that over there, pull this out here, there you go. Now, as you see, it's just popped out there, lovely. So, with that done now, just a case of very carefully taking your blade out. So obviously, I haven't got no new blades to change on these. I do need changing, but I've got to order some, so. But they're alright for now anyway. Yeah, they'll do the job for now, for what I want. So, once you've done that, it's just a case then of pulling this out. The reason you pull this out is you get all this sap here going across here. So that's something you want to try and get rid of. Make sure it doesn't get no sap build up. It's part of the maintenance, so rub it down with a bit of thing. And also what I like to do is normally, there isn't much on that because I haven't been using it very much lately, but I normally like to get some terps. I just put some terps across here, and then I get something like this and just scrape it all across and just get rid of all that. But that's quite clean, so there we go. So once you've done that, it's just a case of plonking this back in. Okay, make sure that lines up, and then it's a case of making sure, like I say, this goes that way. Don't want it to be that way, okay? That's why if you're just learning, you take your photograph, like I said, so you can refer back to it if that goes that way. Once you've done that, you plonk it in, you push it in. This is where this comes in handy as well to do it. If you're struggling, it's basically just a case of, yeah, I'm going to have to undo these a bit. So you get that in like so now. That's made it going a little bit easier. Okay, now what's happening is you've got a spring here, and this spring basically sorts, just like lets it pop out so you can get it safely. So what I like to do now is I just put thing on, and you want to be going outwards, don't you, like that. So like this now, you want to be pushing that outwards, that screw outwards to make it go. And then this is where this comes in handy. Put this on, so make sure you line everything up perfectly on each end, because you don't want anything hitting any of the bearings on the outside. Once you've done that, just a case of, I hate this, doing that there. Okay. So you've got it lined up best you can. Then just start to tighten everything up. So I start on that one there, start that one, so then all you do is come across to this one here, tighten that one up like so. That, and that should stop moving about. Check out there. So now it's just a case now, as obviously I've got that as straight as I possibly can, got it as level from that end to that end. It's just basically, so just recap quickly, I've tightened that one, I've tightened that one, so now it's just a case of just tightening them all. Okay. And I've got 3 blades on this, so it's just basically just repeat the process once it's done. That should be alright now. Now once you've done this, what you want to be doing is this, what I like to do, like this with masking tape. Just put the masking tape over it. So I know then, when I go to this one, okay, and I go to this one, I put the masking tape over in this one, I know they're all done. So I don't have to worry about anything, so that's all done. It's just a precaution, and then you just take everything off. So that is basically how you change your blade. So now we're at the point, I may as well show you about how the thicknesser works, because I've got it all set up. So basically when you put the thicknesser on, obviously you lift these up like I showed you earlier on, and then what you do is you come to lift this over like so, that lifts over and clicks in place, and there's a little clip there. Then your extractor goes on to that end there. What happens then is, this basically, when you want this to go whatever size you want to go through, well, whatever you want your end size to be, sorry, I'll get there in the end, is basically you want your straight edge to go there, so you want to be putting your straight edges that you've already done off your planer to go down, and then is you put the straight edges through this half like so, and it takes it right through, all the way through, which I'll be showing you in a bit, and then it starts thicknessing and everything down. So to do that, you want to be taking a mil off at a time. So you'd measure this, so say it was, you wanted it down to 20 mil, this was 25 mil, you'd measure this, and it might, by the time you've planed it down, might be 23 mil, okay? So it's 23 mil one way, 23 mil the other way. Happy days. So what you do then is you basically go down to your biggest thickness first. You want to do your biggest thickness first, then go down to your small thickness. So I'll rephrase that. Let's say this was, you had one that was 30 centimeters, and then you got a face and it was 20, so you wanted to go 15 and 25, so you'd start with your biggest length first and then work your way down, work your way up, sorry. So you go all the way down, get all them bits out the way with, then you work all the way up. Right, so you've got your plain bit there and your plain bit there, okay, that you've planed down straight as a die, and then what you do is you put them through there like so. So that's how the thicknesser works. Also, the gadgets that are on it to make everything work is these. Is you've got your, obviously you turn this here, That stops the bed from moving, and then it's just up and it's down, and I've got a gauge there to find out where I am and what mil I'm at. At the moment I'm at 153, so that's what I'm at. Yeah, basically once you've done that, then is you just put that there like so, and then all that does then, that stops the bed from moving as your desired length goes through like so. Now what you're going to do then is obviously to use the planer itself. You move this back like so, you plonk this half down, plonk this down, like so. This here is your lever. This is very important, you must get right. You've got a lever here, okay, that I showed you earlier on, and you turn that like so, and you open it and lift to obviously get to the thickness a bit. It's all going to make sense in a bit, I promise. So you do the same this side, okay. Now we're onto the plane. Now we're onto the planer. Yeah, planer. So to get to the thickness set, you have to take this off. It's a bit of a pain in the backside, but you don't have the joys of obviously having a planer and a thicknesser like separate, if you get what I'm saying. So what happens is then put this through here like so. That make that go up, and then you've got your planer and you've got your guide here. And what you must do is you must make sure that this is 90 degrees going that way, so you just put your set square on it wherever you've got. I haven't got one at hand at the moment, but I will be going through that in a bit. I'll sort that out. Now another thing about these is the cast iron top. Maintenance on these machines are important when it comes to obviously stopping them from rusting. So what you've got to do is you've got to keep them as clean as you possibly can. So I'll go through it all with you now. You basically need wire wool, you need Terps. This is recommended for this machine by Axminster. You need Terps, wire wool, you just need a cloth for now. You need to remove this like so. Just take that off, remove it. Happy days. Right, so then just a case of this now. Get your Terps, sort that out, and all you're doing here now is removing all the crud, all the rubbish off it. Let's go over it all nicely. Now once that's done, just a case of just getting your rag. And what I like to do is I like to use half the rag for obviously just taking all this rubbish off, and you can also do the inside of that. It's the same process, so I won't go through all boy with all that though. You take all this off. So you took all that off now. Now you got a few things you can use. You got silicone lubricant, spray it on over. You can use WD-40 as well, or you can use this wax that I got recommended by Axminster. I bought this. There's the wax. Now what you're trying to do is you're trying to stop this from sticking, and that's why you're putting this, and it puts a sealed balm over it. So basically your wood just slides across. As you can see, you can't see it very much, but that's a bit sticky, okay, as you can go over. So all you do is right, finally got it opened. So move that. Now you've got your pasty wax here. All you do is get the clean part of the rag. So shot on there. Love the smell of this. Then all that's taken off, and it's just a case of just blending it in like so. Right, it's all that done now. So all that's over. It's just a basic case. Honestly, it's dead simple. Another clean part of the rag, and all you do is just buff it over, get rid of everything all in, and just buff it in like so. Dead easy. And once it's all gone and buffed in, okay, it just leaves it a nice shine, and yeah, you're ready to do your stuff. So I'll get this bit done now, and then I will get on to the next bit. Now, what's going to happen here is basically I'm going to show you how this works, how this bed moves up and down. So what happens is you've got a dial here, which I'll show you now. Got a dial there, okay, and that dial here, basically this here, you turn, okay, and that moves it down. Okay, so I'll exaggerate it quite a lot. So I've moved it down to 2mm. I never take 2mm off. I'd only ever take something like a mil off on a machine like this. So then what happens is basically this comes across like so, and then that stops it, if you see. That stops there, and the reason is because that's going to start taking everything off. That spins round about 1 billion miles per hour, and then it takes everything off, and it starts planing all these bits down like so. So technically, what you're doing now is you're starting to take shavings off it to make it more, well, to whatever you want it to be. So to turn something from 25mm into 15mm if you want. But this is only to get straight edge, which I keep stressing. I'll be stressing that for quite a lot. Yeah, so that's that bit. So showed you how the thicknesser works, I've showed you how the planer works, I've showed you how to maintain everything, change the blade, and obviously keep everything nice and shiny. So yeah, I think now it's just time to start getting on with getting into the good stuff and how to use it properly and how it works. So I'll start with that now. So now I'm going to be showing you the efficient way of putting your wood through, how to put it through so you can get as much of your stock as possible, because you don't want to be planing to try and get it right, because what you might be trying to achieve is something that's unachievable for the size you want with the wood that you're picking, and no one wants to be in that situation. So let's get through that now. So I don't know if you can start to see this, but this is what you would do. You'd basically look down the face of it down there, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the bend that's going across like that. So I can see here, if I go looking through there, the bend is on this side, and on this side the bend is going over like that, like so. So what you want to be doing is through the planer is you want to be finding which way goes that way, bends up that way in an arc like so. So technically it'll be going like this when you look down it. And when you look down it there, I can see that's going that way. So then what you want to be doing is, you know then that this is your plain side, this is your big side of your wood. So what you want to be doing is you want to be planing this down first before you start planing anything down on here. Now you put that through the wood. Now straight away I can see here, okay, on this side, right, this has got the bend in it. Okay. So what I would do then is this would be planed down, and I'd want that to go against the fence there. So once that goes against the fence, I would basically find out that side wants to go. So I would know that that just needed to go there, and then I can push it through the planer thickness, the planer, sorry, at the moment we're using the planer. So then what that creates is, if I move this round here, that then gets rid of all this silliness and create that straight edge there, as you can see. Once you've got that straight edge, you're on the money. So it's the next day now, obviously, as you can see I'm in different clothes. I couldn't turn it on last night because, well, there'd been on with the neighbours. So basically at the point now where I'm going to start pushing everything through the thick planer side of it, the top part. So first things you want to be doing is you want this here, you want that there. Also as well, you want your eyes and your ears. And I've hooked it up to my extractor as well, which I need a big extractor to use this. That's another downside. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to put in the descriptions down below, our smaller planer thicknesser for obviously people who can't afford anything like this, and it'll be affordable for you, so watch out for that in the links in the description. So what I'm going to do now is, like I said to you earlier on, this like that, and as I can see a little gap through that there. You don't want any gaps, so that is just a case of these levers, and I just undo it there, undo this side like that, and it's just a case then of adjusting it to where it needs to be. That's perfect. Now all that's done, now we're ready to go. So I set this up here like that, just so the wood can go through, and that stops any temptation for your fingers to go through. And then once you've done that, you do your check. So I'm checking through here. Right, I found which way I want to go, which I'm going to choose this side. Okay, like so. And then what you need, you also need a sharp pencil, which I'm going to go through now. So, with that said, let's get cracked on. So as you can see here, I'm starting to look down the wood to see which side I want to start off with first. And then I start putting it straight through the planer side of the planer thicknesser. And obviously, as you can see, I start off by pushing it through, then after I've pushed it through, I move to the other side to keep my hands right out the way, and I finish off the obviously the pass as I'm going, and I keep going and keep checking the wood until obviously I'm happy with what I've got. Then I turn it over, and then I start to obviously start to pass on the other side until it's ready, and keep checking as I go along. As you can see now, I'm just checking the other side and making sure the other side's ready, so I can start pushing it through, and I start pushing it off the plain side like I was telling you before, and I just start the process all over again until yeah, I get where I want to be. Just seen there, I've just gone through all the process and showed you how to do it and talked you through it, and basically that's what you're looking for. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, that's absolutely perfectly straight. Let me show you. There we go. So that's what you're looking for when you've done it. Now, a few things you have to go through before you put it through the planer thicknesser, and also as well, just to show you, I've had this bit painted and I've planed it all down. And as you can see, it's left that there, and it's left a little bit there at the bottom. So what I'm highlighting there is, I put this through a couple of times, and you can see that obviously these painted bits here, it's not planed down enough, so you can see where the timber's moved. And basically that's what you're trying to get rid of. You just keep going and going and going until that's gone. And also on that side, as you can see, I haven't planed it all down there. You can see a little bit of paint that's left on there. So your achievement is to get rid of everything to make sure everything's flat, and everything's flat on this side as well, to give you an equal half there. So when it goes through the planer thicknesser, everything's fine. So what would happen is, you'd have to plane these bits off as much as you can, and then when it's all flat and you've got rid of all that, and you've obviously got rid of everything on the side, when you put it through that way, through the planer through the thicknesser, sorry, it's got a flat edge to make that flat, and then when you put it through this way, you've got a flat edge to go off to make that flat, which I'm going to show you now. Also, so you know which way to put the wood through, hold on, let me get my pencil. So you know which way to put your wood through the planer thicknesser, what you've got to do is this. What I like to do is this. Mark one side, like so, like that. Mark the other side. So, once you've marked the inside, I'll let you show you. I've marked one side that way, and I've marked one side that way. And if I was going to put this through, this bit that I've showed you, obviously the paint, what I would do is I would mark that, like so. So you basically, I don't think you can see it on camera, there, like that. Then what you do is you mark like that, like so. So then what happens is, I know that I've planed this bit down on the top, and I've planed this bit down, this bit here, on the top. So when I put it through the planer thicknesser, I know exactly what I'm doing. So with that said, let's get cracked on how to use the thicknesser, and then we can round this video off, and then that's it really. Right, let's get cracked on. Few things we need to go through before we get started. There's a lever here on mine, I've got a lever here. And I basically need to turn this lever up like so. That makes sure that feeds through. Then I've got my gauge here. So I'm going to go to my desired size I want to do. So I think I want to be going about 25, I think. So you want to go right all the way at the top. Right, so I've gone to 23, that should take everything off. So what I've gone and done now is I've gone and marked with a pencil my edges that I've planed down. So I know exactly which ones I don't want to plane down again, because you don't want to be planing the plain edges, you don't want to be thicknessing them down. You want them to be going through the base flat, which I'm going to be showing, which you can see now that I'm doing. I'm basically pushing it through. And you just keep adjusting everything as you go along, just until you get to where you want it to be. So if you want it to be, if you've got something that is 55 and you want it to be 50, you just keep going through until you get it to 50. Happy days. Right, there we have it. So that now, as you can see, is dead smooth. That side is dead smooth. Now what I like to do now is, I always find, especially when you're starting out, you want to be using rubbish wood really. You don't want to be going out and buying fantastic wood like oak and stuff like that. You want to be practicing with rubbish wood to build your skills up bit by bit if you're going to start becoming a woodworker. So what I always find is, when I go over and use not so good wood, maybe it's not with oak or ash or anything like that, but anything really, what I like to do is I like to leave a mill on, because these bits where I've marked, like there and there, I find that they go a bit like knobbly, if you like, and they don't go exactly perfectly straight, so you're getting this flat. So when you put this through, this obviously goes flat. That's a much better finish. So what I do is I find out where I put my mark. So I put my mark there, and I've put my mark there, and all I do is put that back through the planer thicknesser. Back through the thicknesser part, and then that basically gets everything perfect. So I'll do that. Once I've done that, I'll show you exactly what it looks like at the end. Happy days. So that last little process there is basically what I was trying to achieve. I'm just trying to achieve that everything is perfectly smooth like this. So as you can see here, I hope you can see it there, all sides are perfect. So if you look from that angle, it's right, that angle, it's right, this angle, it's right, and that angle, it's right, and that angle like that. I think that's all of them. So that's what you're trying to achieve. Then you can put your miters, if you want to put your miters on, then you can start putting obviously your Morse and tenants in, whatever you're going to do, obviously if it was a lot bigger than this. But that is basically the process of how to use a planer thicknesser, and basically how to use my planer thicknesser. Now, there is planer thickness out there that are £200, I'm going to put in the description down below. There is other planer thicknesses which are basically, I've got the straight blades, I must mention this. There is ones where you can get where it's like you can take little tiny blades out individually, and they're like an individual thing. You can go for that if you want to, but they're much more expensive. So I'll put a link in the description of them so you can have a look at them. So after that, that's basically it really. So I'd just like to turn around and say thanks very much for watching. If you can find it in your heart to subscribe, that would be brilliant. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.